So Sonic Racing CrossWorlds is a game that exists right now, and because Sega's revealed the game with zero gameplay for the millionth time, I decided to come up with a wish list of all the things I want to see in Sonic Racing CrossWorlds. So let's not waste any more time. Without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let's discuss the topic at hand. So the first thing on my Sonic Racing CrossWorlds wish list is to have it be a Sonic and Sega game. Now I know the game isn't called Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing CrossWorlds, but just because it isn't called that doesn't mean that we can have some Sega aspects of this game. Like I want to see some more Monkey Ball stuff in here, bring Billy Hatcher back, Knights, all the stuff from the previous All-Stars games in here. And even more now because we've got stuff like Persona, we got Yakuza, we've got some other stuff which I have no idea about, but yeah, Sega's a lot of franchises, and it's a shame that it wasn't in Team Sonic Racing, so if they can bring that back for this game, that would be absolutely lovely. Because even though the world of Sonic is pretty big, so you can do a whole game about it and still have it be quite content-filled, I just always thought that the Sega crossover stuff was cool. Like, it introduced people to different franchises they've actually seen before, and it even gave the opportunity for Sega to throw a bone to some of the old franchises that don't get games anymore. And then on top of all of that, it just makes it so there's actually a whole lot more content than they can actually take from for the game. So yeah, bring about the Sega aspect of these games, please Sega, because I just think it's pretty cool. So yeah, there's no really downside to this at all, so please, go ahead. Right, moving on to the second item on my wish list, which is for you all to check out the Race Wars, a great series of streams and videos where me and a group of friends race through multiple different Sonic games and even different franchises of games in the future. So check some of those videos out after this one. Trust me, they're great.
How I beat everyone at the Shadow.
Kill me, Shadow!
Hey, you think you are? Wait, whoa.
Oh my god! I'm cosmically falling constantly! Right, now for the third item on the wish list, which is a large and good roster of characters to play as. The roster of characters in Team Sonic Racing was absolutely pitiful. Only 15 Sonic characters in there, are you serious? So I think that Sonic Racing CrossWorlds really needs to raise the bar with that kind of stuff, because this should not be a problem with the Sonic franchise at all. This is literally the same franchise where people complain that Sonic's friends were too much in the game, so not enough Sonic. So how is this a problem nowadays? I don't understand. We have so many of Sonic's friends, villains, stuff from the comics, movies I guess. Now I don't particularly want anybody specific to be in this game because it's just putting random characters in a car. There's nothing that interesting to have them in the game for, but just chuck in anybody, bro. Infinite, the Babylon Rogues, Wade Whipple, Sales from Sonic Prime, the flipping mayor from the Sonic Boom TV show. Bring him in there. Who cares, man? Just chuck in anybody, man. We have so many characters in this franchise that having a measly 15 should not be something that we settle with. Sega, do better, man. Right then, for item number 4, as well as having a large and good roster of characters to play as, I would also like a large and varied amount of tracks to actually play as these characters on as well. I would preferably want all the tracks in this game to be original in terms of both environment and level design, but can we make sure to have zero Seaside Hill in this game? I am so sick of seeing Seaside Hill in every single Sonic Racing game. The first one, Transformed, Team Sonic Racing. There are so many more zones that we can pick from. If they do bring back tracks from the old games, why not just bring back every single one of them? I mean, it's easy content right there. I mean, yeah, I want to fill up this game with as much content as possible because Team Sonic Racing was very much lacking in that area. So bring back every single one of those. If you're going to bring back one, yeah, good idea to do that. On to the fifth point, which is a great soundtrack. In my personal opinion, Team Sonic Racing had a top 5 Sonic soundtrack, to be honest. I mean, you had Tomoyo Otani on there, T. Lopes, Hyper Potions, Jun Sonoe. So many great composers on that soundtrack. Like, can we get that again for Sonic Racing CrossWorlds, and especially with real instruments, more so than, you know, random EDM like Chaos Island Act 1. I want another great soundtrack this time, not like Shadow Generations where it was a very mediocre B tier soundtrack compared to the regular A to S tier of Sonic standards. So yeah, not much to say for this section, just please, real instruments more than synthesizers, I beg. Right then, anyways, item 6 on the agenda, which is customization. In terms of Team Sonic Racing's customization, it was actually pretty good. There were so many options for what you could actually customize, like the color of the car, the texture of the car as well. You could have it be like metallic or paint or plastic, stuff like that was pretty cool. You could customize the horn, you could have some patterns to the car. Like, there was a lot in Team Sonic Racing. I think that aspect of Team Sonic Racing should return in Sonic Racing CrossWorlds. But obviously, don't just stop it there, expand on it even more. Give us different types of cars for the characters actually ride on. Obviously, you get Extreme Gear in there because it was actually in the CGI teaser. Give Shadow his flipping bike back. Where is the Dark Rider? It was not in Team Sonic Racing. Bring it back, Sega, I swear to God. And then even have some customization to the characters themselves. Give us alternate versions of these characters in this game, like, you know, super forms, like the rider's outfits, stuff like that. I guess even oh god, I can't even say it. Come on, I can say it. Classic Sonic. I guess he can be in this game as well, if you want. Anyways, next thing on the wish list, which is good online multiplayer, Sega. We have been struggling with this for probably over a decade now. Transformed had online, and I think it was decent from what I've heard, but then Team Sonic Racing had it and it was awful because it died on day one because it didn't support it or whatnot. Then Sonic Superstars tried to do it and once again it flopped, and then yeah. Now we're here, so please Sega, make it cross-platform. I know we haven't had that for a Sonic game at all yet, but give us cross-platform multiplayer. Just figure out a system to do that, please Sega, because online is what's going to keep this multiplayer game alive. The next point on my wish list is to increase the track difficulty. When it comes to Team Sonic Racing specifically, I feel like a lot of the track design was a bit too simple. There were barely any tight turns, there was a lot of just straight roads of nothingness. Increase the track difficulty, because I think part of the reason that Team Sonic Racing did feel a bit dry at times is because of the track design. It just didn't stimulate the mind enough. I mean, you look at Mario Kart, right, and part of the reason that Rainbow Road is so iconic is because of how difficult they usually are. And that is not a bad thing at all. Having difficulty in a party sort of game is actually pretty good sometimes. So please, don't be scared to give us a bit of difficulty in here, because I know you've been lacking on that a lot recently. Anyways, next up on the agenda is multiple race modes. In Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing, the original one, there were so many great multiplayer modes in that game. The Emerald Hunt, I actually loved that one playing with the siblings back in the day, that was awesome. Then you got the Chow Hunt, King of the Hill, like all those great modes in there. I think that should come back for this one. And then even have the team mechanic from Team Sonic Racing here as an option to play as, because the team mechanics in Team Sonic Racing were actually pretty solid and actually like them quite a lot. So yeah, having that as like an option to play as in this game, yeah, pretty great. And then again in Team Sonic Racing, I think also it was in Transform 2, there were the different missions like the time trials or whatever. You got the survival races, you got the Daredevil one, you got the ring challenges and whatnot. Yeah, it's just stuff like that. Just have so many modes in this game that will never get bored of the game, because this will especially help in keeping the online for this game alive. But next thing on the wish list, which is animated cutscenes. Now, this isn't just for the story cutscenes, because in Team Sonic Racing, the cutscenes were, again, pitiful because they were just moving images on the screen. How interesting. But this also goes for stuff like the results screen on these racing tracks, because in the original Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing, when a race ends, we actually got to see an animation of the characters like celebrating and stuff like that, and I thought that was actually kind of neat. But then I can't remember how they were in Transform, but in Team Sonic Racing it was all gone. It was all just a boring looking menu and that's about it. So having just more animated stuff in these games, it would be pretty nice actually. Right, next item on the agenda, I actually think this is actually a pretty big one, but can we please get the original Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing race announcer back, please? I love the announcer in that game so flipping much, man. He has so much heart and soul in every single word he utters in that game. It's flipping hilarious sometimes.
That's 16 ounces of punch with extra relish right there. Shadow bending some metal out there. Evie Joe lands that so fast. I wish there was an all-star in the track. What's that? There is? Sweet.
Because after that, the Transformed and Team Sonic Racing ones are so flipping boring. And I think the main thing is that they barely even talk during the races. They speak when you get like an item or something like that, but there's no commentary when you got the camera pans throughout the entire level before you actually start the race. They don't say 3, 2, 1 anymore. There's no commentary during the races to say you guys suck or something. Like, there's just none of that anymore. Team Sonic Racing kind of didn't have that issue during the actual races because they had the actual characters talking themselves instead of the announcer, but none of that will ever hit the same as the announcer in the original Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing. I love that guy so much, and apparently his name isn't even in the credits either, so he's a nameless guy as well, and then like probably the best part about the game, honestly. He adds to the vibe so much in that game, that's why I love it so much, and he's just gone uncredited too, so what the hell, Sega? Bring him back. Right, for the second to last item on the list, it is bring back the All-Star moves as well, bro. I know you probably won't call them All-Star moves anymore because it's not an All-Star game, but I mean, maybe you could actually, who knows, but just bring them back, bro. The Team Ultimates in Team Sonic Racing was so flipping boring. What happened to Sonic and Shadow turning super during the middle of a race to tear up the track? What happened to Knuckles using the Master Emerald during a race? What happened to Big the Cat pulling out a massive froggy out of nowhere and bouncing the way to the first position? What happened to all of that? In All-Stars Racing Transformed, the All-Stars were still there, but they were so lame in comparison. Like, you have Super Sonic in the first game, then in the second game, he just has rings. That's it. That's the All-Star move. What a flipping downgrade, man. So yeah, please, again, have something like this in Sonic Racing CrossWorlds, man. That was such a cool aspect of this original game as well, which I do love it for. And then for the final thing on Unleash's Sonic Racing CrossWorlds wish list, it is post-launch content. Team Sonic Racing's biggest downfall was having zero content to release after the game actually came out, because the game had no content to begin with. And even though that was an issue at release, they could have easily avoided that problem by just putting stuff in the game after it came out, but did they do any of that? You guessed it, no. Sega released Team Sonic Racing and just left it there to die. And it's honestly still to this day so flipping sad. But yeah, let's hope with Sonic Racing CrossWorlds they avoid that mistake, because just putting more characters as DLC, more tracks as DLC, I mean, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is still doing it even after the game's come out for like 7 years and whatnot, so Sega can clearly do that with this game. And just having DLC would make people come back to the game so much more often. Look at what it did for Sonic Frontiers. The whole fandom came back every single couple of months just to play the brand new update for the game, and yeah, it's pretty great. So doing that with a multiplayer game will have the same effect. And just something to note as well, Sega, when it comes to post-launch content, could we also get some post-launch, bug fixes that actually fix the game, because they've been doing that recently, but not to their fullest potential, because a lot of these games like Sonic Superstars and Sonic Frontiers, and especially Sonic Colors Ultimate, had so many issues that could have been fixed with a quick patch and that's it, but no, they didn't bother fixing everything. They fixed the major things, but not a lot of the minor things, and obviously death by 1,000 paper cuts, which is exactly what Sonic Colors Ultimate was. So for example, if the online is extremely buggy on the release of the game, go back and actually bug fix that thing, because again, online Team Sonic Racing downfall. Anyways, yeah, that about does it for today's video then. So that is my wish list for Sonic Racing CrossWorlds. I don't think I missed anything, but if I have, then let me know in the comments down below. And then as well as that, what are your lot's wish list for Sonic Racing CrossWorlds? Let me know down below. Love to see what you guys have to say. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, especially that last one. Don't forget to become unleashed by hitting that join button down below. And remember, it's not necessary. And I will see you all next time. Peace.